It is Friday the 9th of April and you're listening to Plugged In with your host Samantha de Bruin. And I'm excited to say I am not broadcasting from Seasons Farm Vineyard Accommodation in Dargle today. I am in Jeffreys Bay and I'm going to be joined with a fellow Joburger that decided to make his escape to Jeffreys Bay a little bit more permanent. But we'll get into that later on in the show. I hope you guys have all had an epic week and you're ending it on the best possible way, being right here on my show on eRadio. And this week's lineup on the Sam Management calendar, we have got Amy Chassing in Cape Town performing at the Westlake Golf Course, as well as Blaukippen Family Market on Sunday. Those details will be up on my page at Plugged In with Samantha de Bruin. And then if you're in the KZN area, we've got Matt Gardner at Legacy Yard in Umhlanga on Saturday, and then Stoker's Arms on Sunday, and then followed by a private event actually. So it's been so amazing to have my artists performing live again. And it really is so incredible for the industry to be rolling over. But on today's show, I am bringing in a very flipping special human being, someone that I have known for a good 8-9 years. We originally met through an artist by the name of Daniel Barron when we were looking for a guitarist, and Kurt Slabbert's name came up, and Daniel had just heard amazing things about this guy. And obviously me being his manager, I was like, got to check this guy play. And obviously I concurred with absolutely everyone who spoke so highly of him. And let me tell you, this guy knows how to strum that guitar among many other of his talents. So right now, I would love to welcome Kurt Slabbert to my show.
Hey Sam, how's it? Yes, it's good to have you in J-Bay.
Oh man, it's so good to be here. This vibe here. I mean, watching how everyone just is so pulled to the ocean.
Yeah.
Everyone's so chilled. It's such a lack of vibe here.
Yeah, they are, and you still get work done. So I think having the internet here now, we've got fiber. Can you believe it? Jeffreys Bay's got fiber, so we still be able. We can work.
Yeah,
and I think that's what makes it doable. Is that you can leave the gold mines behind and move down to the coast, and yeah, it's just a different lifestyle, and one that I'm enjoying a lot.
Yeah, I must say I've been here for a good couple of days now, and the lifestyle here, you can just work from anywhere. Have this incredible view, being surrounded by such chilled people.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is completely different for Joburgers. And I know you spent a good couple years in Joburg, and so did I. I was there for almost 10 years and then headed through to the Cape. And now being here in J-Bay, I can understand why people love it so much, and why you chose to make this home 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I woke up one morning, as my wife would tell you, and just said, we're going to Jeffreys Bay, and I just felt that the time in Joburg was over, and I think Joburg's pace of life, it's just intense, and I felt like Joburg was good for me, and it's something I really enjoyed.
It purpose, for
sure.
Yeah,
absolutely, and just felt it was time for that change, So and obviously with the being able to work remotely, and then after that, 6 months after that, we went into lockdown.
Yeah.
And
what an incredible decision to have made before lockdown, to be out this side and not in Joburg.
Absolutely, and still, luckily having work, as somebody working in the media music industry, to have that little bit of work coming through was great,
Yeah. So for our international listeners, Jeffreys Bay is known for its surf, the incredible waves.
Yeah.
And you've got people from all over the world coming to surf here, the incredible Kelly Slater and, all the big names being here. And it definitely is a holiday destination. If you're out there listening and you dig to surf and you love that lifestyle, Jeffreys Bay is definitely the place where you would want to go to and probably also end up staying.
Yeah, I think in 2017 and 18 it was the fastest growing town in South Africa.
Wow. Okay.
So
yeah.
there does seem to be a bit of a people moving out of the bigger cities and kind of,
for sure. Look, Joburg had its place for sure. I mean, it definitely was instrumental to my career, and there's a hustle and bustle of everything there. Yeah. But then with technology, you're able to do things online, and I think that lockdown has also showed that you can. Your business moves wherever you move. Yeah. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to be in this industry, record, #blessed to be in this industry. I'm a bit of an inside joke there. But it's been phenomenal to travel, record my show, be in person with you.
Yeah.
I had Shen FM on my show 2 weeks ago in studio with him in Cape Town. And man, I just love having the person right in front of me, so it's so epic for you to be here.
Yes.
But we need to get straight into what makes Kurt Slabbert Kurt Slabbert.
What makes Kurt Slabbert?
And I just want to get straight into things and play a track that you were hugely instrumental in getting out there. A very successful track. It's done amazing on radio and streaming platforms. And that is a track with Break the Law and Matthew Gold. What did you do with this track? How were you involved in it?
So Dave and I've known Dave for many years. We started playing in a band called Jam on Tuesday when I first moved to Joburg, and that's how I met Dave. And obviously we just hit it off and became really good friends. And he went off and he started producing music. And he produced a song called Paint Me Like a French Girl.
Yes.
Which obviously went all over the world. It was a massive hit. And funny enough, it's still the biggest played song on his catalogue. It's crazy how that song, it still gets very, very high rotation. Just turns over the
whole time, yeah.
And anyway, so during that time, I had approached him after he finished Paint Me Like a French Girl, and we were working together in studio in the post-production side, doing adverts, doing advertising, music. And then I just said to him, let's do something together. And then we decided, then I kind of joined Break the Law. We kind of saw ourselves as a duo and started writing music with him. And that's how we began the song called When We Were Young. Got into the studio and sat there with my guitar and came up with a guitar line that, we both were happy with. And that's how the song started. It was just merely started with a guitar line, and
let me tell you, just before, off air, just before we started this interview, I said to you, that guitar line totally makes the song.
Yeah.
It stands out. And that's also... why you are on the show today, because you're an insane guitarist. Like I said earlier, among many other of your talents, your guitar playing skills are next level.
I appreciate that.
So I want every listener to experience what I have with you, also seeing you play live, which is also absolutely next level. But just to hear this track that you have been involved with. So this is a track by Break the Law, featuring Matthew Gold, When We Were Young.
Why can't we go back? Why can't we go? It might never come again.
cannot stop the time. It might run you over. There were nights we might have gone over, and nights we might have overdone. We cannot stop the time. It might run you over. Why can't we go back to the days when we were young? And now I know that my time has just begun. Take it in, a moment still undescribed. It might never come again. Take it in, a moment still undescribed. It might never come again. Days can be days. Days can be days. Days can be days. Days can be days.
That was When We Were Young by Break the Law featuring Matthew Gold. But I have that guitar line artist right in front of me, and that guitar really does make the track. Kurt Slabbert.
Guitar makes everything.
Absolutely. Right here with me in studio, we are sitting, well, the most flippin' cool studio right here. I wish you guys could see what it is that we are looking out to, sitting here in the lounge and have the most incredible panoramic view of the mountains and the oceans here in Jeffreys Bay.
Absolutely stunning.
What a time to be alive, hey? Yeah. But Kurt, I want to know where it all began with you. Where did this passion come from?
So, I mean, I grew up in East London, and I always wanted to do music, and at that stage, because I'm, how can I say, I am old, but I'm not old. But at that stage, there weren't many opportunities to study music, you know. So at that stage, I was already working in a hospital. I had started off working for East London Private Hospital, and I kind of caught wind of guys talking about a place called the Guitar Institute in London, and I set my sights on that, and I was like, somehow I'll get there, and I whilst working at the hospital, I studied, I became a pharmacy technician.
Oh, wow.
The hospital paid for that, so I was like, I needed something, and they said, would you like to do this? And I was like, yes. And during the course, I realized that, okay, with this qualification, I could actually go to London, I could work in this field, I could save money, and eventually I could study music. So that's exactly what I did. So I still remember just quitting, selling up everything. I had a dream. I climbed on a plane. I think 2 days before I climbed on the plane, it was just before September 11. This was in October. It was a month later. I'll never forget, after the Twin Towers went down. And 2 days before I climbed on the plane, I got a call that I'd been offered a job in a small little town, 100 miles north of London, working in a hospital, earning the pounds. And I climbed on the plane and off I went, still with this dream of just pursuing music.
Yeah.
So I got that side. And off I went, worked in the hospital, and I worked 2 jobs. I worked 8 to 5 in a hospital, then 7 to 11. I worked in a restaurant to save money and I worked full-time for a year. And after 10 months, I had saved enough money to be able to then stop working and go and pursue music, which I did. So after that, I went and I signed the check, and I enrolled in a course at the Guitar Institute in London. And I started studying, which was amazing, because now I'm studying under my one guitar teacher played for the Beach Boys, and my one, so you didn't just get obviously the high level of playing, but you got the high level of stories, the high level of experience, and for me that was great. And the experience for me was the teacher, the stories of handling the situations, getting into the music industry. Anyway, and then during that time, I was just very calculated, so I needed a part-time job. I worked at the Hammersmith Apollo Theatre. You know, I could go in early, I could catch the sound checks of the bands, so whatever I did, I was very calculated and just made sure that it was all just focused purely on the music industry, on what I want to become, which back then was just a guitarist, you know. I mean, that's what I studied. I studied guitar, and yeah.
But you see, that also would set you apart, because when you've got that burning passion of music inside of you, you just need to constantly feed it the entire time. And that's exactly what you were doing, is you were making ends meet, but purely because you knew that you needed to pursue this passion of yours. And that's beautiful. You know, you've got this burning passion inside of you, knowing that that is the direction you want to go in. And you did all that you can to make it possible. And, you know, you look back where you first started to where you are now, and that is nothing but flipping hard work.
Yeah.
And, you know, it really is guys like you that make this industry at the level that it's at because of your passion, as well as your international influence of everyone around you that has been able to impact your life. And that is because you've received it, because you were so hungry for it. And that is what makes a true artist.
No, absolutely. I think there has to be, especially in the music industry, you know, there has to be a drive, you know, and a lot of faith and a lot of hope.
You can't just sit back. It's not just going to land in your lap.
No,
and you know,
that's
also something that I've been pushing on the show, because this show that like handles the ins and outs of the music industry.
Yeah.
So we've done radio plugging, publishing, production, songwriting, you know, the live elements of where I had Dan Patlansky and Palm Circle on the show speaking about how their entire live setup has had to change because of COVID.
Yeah.
And, you know, all these elements of this hard work needs to go into every single aspect of the music industry to make it work. So any artist listening to the show, just know that it's not just going to fall in your lap. It takes damn hard work and persistence. Because there's going to be times where you think, flip, nothing that I'm doing is working. But it really is. You know, sometimes, you know, there's that saying is when you think that you've got nothing left to give, you actually do, and you push through that threshold, and somehow it just all starts coming together.
Yeah, I think, you know, I don't know if it ever gets, I don't want to say it ever gets easier, but I think you never stop growing, and I think that's the important thing. You know, as soon as you stop growing, that kind of will be the beginning of the end. You know,
Absolutely.
I think it's one of those industries where you continuously just need to evolve, continuously need to be working on becoming better,
and working with artists that you look up to, or producers, or getting constantly in contact with people that can give that advice to you.
Yeah, you absolutely. I mean, that was key as well as part of my growth process. Even before I studied music, was you know, I mean, I was that guy that would go knock on someone's door if I thought they were a great guitarist, you know, and sit and let's have coffee. You know, that's how I learned. That's how, you know, just absolute influence from people that were a lot better than me.
Yeah,
I can never be, you know what I mean? Soon as you're the best in the room, you're not growing, you know. And I think, you know, there's a story around that as well. You know, as soon as you get thrown into a band and the musicians are so much better than you've got two options. You know, you can either you know, become insecure in that, or you can just open up and absolutely learn and just grow, you know. Yeah.
So Kurt, you then went on to founding your own production company, Bluenoise Production.
Yeah.
And that handles all things music, from production to songwriting to TV adverts, and basically everything it's a one-stop shop. Everything that someone will need in order to get their stuff out there, you know, to have that final product to showcase to the world.
Yes, absolutely. So can I touch on how that started?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
So I moved to Joburg. So I left London and I arrived in Johannesburg in 2004, and I was offered a job at COPA, the Campus of Performing Arts.
Yes.
And we kind of, you know, with the other teachers, we rewrote the syllabus, and we kind of took things more to an international level of the way we taught music and stuff. And one day a student came to me and he said to me, this is a CD of a band that's looking for a guitarist, you know. And I took the CD and I went and I listened to the music and I thought, oh wow, this is pretty cool, you know, like let me check this out, you know. And I went and I met with the writers, and it happened to be a guy by the name of Lawrence Besson, the owner of Sterling Sound. And obviously I had no idea, you know, but that kind of opened, yeah, you know, if I think of one person that's really opened the industry on that side, the media post-production side of the industry, to me was Lawrence, you know.
Yeah.
He kind of inspired me to do that, and we started writing music. I'll never forget when I was at Sterling Sound one day, we had to record a advert for the Fanta World Chart Show, which was many years ago, you know. And my first kind of baptism into writing jingles was me in the booth with a team of creatives and people from an advertising agency, saying, okay, we need some country, and then having to, you know, spit out a piece of country, you know, and then after that a piece of rock music and a piece of, and that's kind of, and then I played it and we wrote the music, and then I got paid, and I thought, wow, this was really cool, you know. I really enjoyed this, and I got paid really well, you know. And that was in 2004, and that was my introduction into kind of advertising music. And ever since then, you know, it was something that I thought, okay, I want to get more into this,
for sure.
You know. And so that's where it started. And then I worked a lot with Lawrence. We had a band. We obviously wrote a lot of music. And then in 2008, I had the opportunity to work with Mandla and Demande from Black Brain Pictures. Mandla and I were playing in Gang of Instrumentals together. I was playing guitar in Gang of Instrumentals during that time, and he started making TV shows, and he had a lot of successful TV shows like City Sesla and Sestopla, and he had a TV show, and he said he needed somebody to mix it, and I said I'd do it, and that was the birth of my own company.
Amazing.
Of Bluenoise Productions, you know. So
amazing how the one thing just bleeds into the next. Hey?
Absolutely, you know. And I think that, you know, if I think about this whole story, it started with that student handing me CD and saying, this is the band, you know. And I think to myself, imagine if I lost that CD, or if it fell under the seat of my car and I never made that call, you know. So, I mean, this all unfolds from that CD, you know. But
it also came down to you making the choice of a door opening and you choosing to walk through, you know.
Absolutely.
And one decision always leads to the next, and you've always been so open to opportunity, because you never know what's going to come from it. And you know, the networking, especially in this industry, it's got, the saying goes, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
And in this industry, it really is about that, being able to pick up the phone and be like, hey, you know, like, I need help with something. And this industry is actually very small, but if you're able to succeed in it, it can be really, really successful. And that's where, I mean, you really have been. I went onto your website and just looked at some of the brands that you have worked with. I mean, we've got DSTV, we've got KFC, Cash Converters, Nando's, obviously this, you know, Sun International. You know, there's some incredible clients that you have worked with, and that is because of the standard of your work. So I reckon I'm going to play one of these audio clips from some of the work that you have done. Which one would you actually recommend that we do?
Sure. Fanta was always funny. I mean, I'll never forget that day in studio. You know, we were pretty much lying on our backs laughing that day so much, you know. It was just so much fun, and just a lot of getting up to, not nonsense, but just having fun, you know. And
just a feel good.
Yeah, you know, and I think that's the thing, is just enjoying what you do, you know. And so, yeah, maybe that Fanta country ad is, you know.
I reckon we play that, because it's also, I reckon it's this amalgamation of everything that you have.
Oh, it was the first ad. It was absolutely the first advert that I ever did. But
I think, you know, it's pulling in your musical experiences, and then this opportunity of the student giving you that disc, and it's like amazing how the two have come together to form your business. So this is Fanta Country, and it's put together by Kurt Slabbert from Bluenoise Productions.
The Fanta Fun Guide
Number 18.
How to Sing Country.
England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Brazil, Afghanistan, Egypt, Ghana, India, Lesotho, Namibia, Pakistan. Yeehaw! Australia, the Philippines, and Tanzania. Come on, my Stetson is big. Yeah! Hop on our ponies and ride.
Fanta.
The fun will find you.
Oh man, that sounded like it was so much fun. I would have loved to have just been a fly on the wall to have watched all of that take place. That was epic.
Yeah,
that's so cool that you have been able to create something like that, and it makes so much sense now why so many other clients would want to be a part of the Bluenoise production family.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think one thing I've got to also just say is that I'm definitely not a one-man show, and I think collaboration, even that day working with those guys, everything you do that is great is always going to be in a team,
For sure.
and just having, like I said, Lawrence as a guide and as a co-writer, for me it made all the difference. So I've been very blessed and very lucky to have some serious mentors in my life, some of which I seeked out, and some of which, I bumped into, So I think it's absolutely key to have mentors that are just, knock on their doors and get a coffee,
sure.
or just whatever you have to do to get an audience with them, but I can't stress enough how important it is to have the right mentors, especially in the music industry. People you can see how they handle themselves, how they handle the business, how they handle music. It's almost like these days the easiest part of a musician's job is to sing and play.
Yeah.
And it's all the other stuff that will make and break you,
But you would have to be open to those opportunities, and that's where it's relinquishing any arrogance or, think that you are higher than thou, where you're able to actually receive that advice is where you're going to grow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think if you aren't, you won't find yourself in the industry. It's really that simple.
Yeah,
I think the guys that are in the industry are guys that generally are humble. Very seldomly do you come across an arrogant guy in the music industry, just purely because there's no space for that. People generally are awesome. They're very down to earth, and they love what they do, and they just want to get on with it.
Exactly.
But that was fun. I mean, doing those ads were a lot of fun, and listening to, I haven't listened to that ad for such a long time, and just to think back that in 2004, that was my introduction.
It's a long time ago.
To writing adverts, to doing advertising music, jingles, so to speak.
So before we move on, you mentioned being part of a team. You haven't been flying solo your entire career, and we're going to move on to you being a part of gangs of instrumentals. But before we move on to that, how can we find you on social media in terms of Bluenoise production? And if anyone is listening that wants to reach out, that either needs a TV advert or a jingle created, even a song to be written and produced by Bluenoise Productions, where can they get a hold of you?
So I have a website, which is bluenoise.co.za. So www. I have to say that so slowly. And then Bluenoise at Instagram handle would be at Bluenoise_K.
Okay.
Where else? Facebook, there's a Bluenoise page.
Perfect. But what I will do is tag you on my pages as well.
Okay, perfect.
And anyone can head through to my page as well at Plugged In with Samantha de Bruin, and they will find your details there on my page as well. So I want to open up this next segment with one of the tracks that you were involved with on Gangs of Instrumentals, and that is a track by the name of My Number One. It definitely is a jam for this Friday, all the Friday feels in this, and just proudly South African as well, with the beat that it encompasses.
So I joined the band in 2000 and Yes, 2009 I joined the band, but then they had already recorded everything. So
Okay.
I came on as a guitarist, as a touring guitarist.
Amazing.
But which was, I mean, do you want to play the song first?
Yeah,
and
let
then
me
talk more
let me
about
play
it?
the track, and then let's chat about your journey from this to where you are now.
Perfect.
So this is my number one by Gang of Instrumentals.
Get the eRadio SA app right now for free on the Google Play Store. Entertainment radio on the go.
You worth more than diamonds, worth more than them pearl. Listen when me tell.
You are my love, my sun, my reason to wake in the morning, the reason I smile all day. You are my one.
Get me go down, get too long, get food on dream away. Mother of my baby, you are my number one lady, baby.
Get me go down, get too long, get food on dream away. Daddy of my baby, you are my number one, baby.
Turn the turns, they could him now. On that Japan and all them touches and yo. The turn the turns, they could him now. On that Japan and all them touches and afa. Kukuja bake, kushange jajambo. Intensa niwe na manta, nifane no boro. The lyrics they come sharp, nchenke kemba gazoro. Hake konga di twita, kisho no pangalero. Kitiku tala, kitula, kifuno, jima we. Mother of my baby, you are my number one lady, baby.
Get me go down, get too long, get food on dream away. Daddy of my baby, you are my number one, baby.
Seen a lot of tricks in my life, and a lot of things here and there in my life, and a lot of first dates, first kisses, first hugs. Never did it twice till you. Could you cool, baby, cool? I'm so proud over you. I'm here to make your dreams come true. What you want, cool, diamond rings, shopping sprees, anything. Mother come through for you.
Kitiku tala, kitula, kifuno, jima we. Mother of my baby, you are my number one lady, baby.
You are my love, my sun, my reason to wake in the morning, the reason I smile all day. You are my one.
Kitiku tala, kitula, kifuno, jima we. Mother of my baby, you are my number one lady, baby.
Get me go down, get too long, get food on dream away. Daddy of my baby, you are my number one, baby.
Oh man, what a Friday vibe track. Hey, just really gets you going for the weekend. That was my number one by Gang of Instrumentals, and I just happened to have one of the band members sitting right in front of me, Kurt Slabbert. What a kiff track, hey?
Yeah, that was a special band.
Yeah.
It was a really special time in my life, and I think as a musician, it was probably my biggest growth time, you know. One thing that was really special about Gang of Instrumentals is it was all about the moment. So often we'd write songs on the stage,
How cool.
we kind of never knew what was going to happen. We had our songs, but there was just always a strong emphasis on just creativity and being in the moment and
that energy feeding off each other.
Absolutely, it was all about that. So even the songs, they never stayed the same. They'd be different gig
True
to gig.
artistry, for sure.
Absolutely, and then obviously working with guys like Riot and Mandla and Tumi, they just brought so much. They taught me so much about creativity. Riot is just an absolute, in studio and live, he's just incredible, and Mandla's always got these ideas, and it just flows. And so there was a lot of learning, a lot of different styles of music, which was also cool. We'd go from rock to reggae to an absolute ballad to R&B. So that urban music definitely sparked just sparked something in me, that just opened up my world to something else, we were one of those bands that we could go from the middle of KwaMashu to Opikopi, in the same weekend, and I think, that was just, it really just blew my mind, that, being able to go into these different areas, different spaces where other music would never have taken me, so, I'm really grateful that I had that opportunity to be involved with them, and obviously being involved with them, it led to a lot of the TV work. Once again, Mandla trusted me, and I still work with him today.
Just a full circle moment happening,
absolutely, right? It just continues. So I'm writing. I'm actually right now writing music for his new TV show, and I've pretty much worked on all these TV shows over the last 10 years. Writing music, final mix. So we've done a lot of work together, a lot of great work together. So when won SAFTA awards. It's just like you say, it's just a massive circle, and everything's attached and everything's connected, and But it's also so important to maintain those relationships. Yeah.
And you're feeding it the entire time, because there's that trust that is formed between you and him. So he will always and forever use you for your work just because of that relationship that you have. And I can't stress it enough for anyone listening that whether you are dealing with a producer, a songwriter, someone in production, even the sound engineer at shows, is to make sure that that relationship just blossoms the entire time.
Yeah.
Because just like this, with you being here in J-Bay, and we met almost 9 years ago, having this full circle moment of you being on my show with me after, we've done many tours together, you've been at many shows, and,
What was our first show? I think it was Joburg? Was Joburg Day the first show?
Yeah, Joburg Day.
It was the first
you were
show.
on stage with Daniel Barron, Joburg Day.
And Lloyd.
Yes, exactly. You were playing for 2 bands at the same time. Guys, I can't stress enough how incredible this dude is. I'm going to try to find clips, and I'm going to put it out there for you to see him perform live. For you to be performing for 2 completely separate bands on the same day. That's just epic.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
I remember that. That was a good 5-6 years ago. Actually, I think it was like 6 years ago.
Probably, yeah.
2014, 2015 was Joburg Day. Back then.
Yeah. I can't remember, but I'm sure we'll
go
find
back
some
and
footage.
we'll find some clips
We'll find
for
some
sure.
footage.
For sure.
That was long ago.
we were chatting off air about some of the other tracks that you have worked on, and pulling in the influence of gangs of instrumentals, where Riot actually is now featuring on another artist track that you have worked on, and that is a track featuring Riot, but it's by Silver, and it's a track called Lost in You, which I want to feature on the show today. And I want everyone to listen to it. It's such a cool track. It's got this reggae vibe to it, and even the way that Silver sings with this reggae melody in her vocals just really ties in the track beautifully. And that is something that's so important, is putting together a track where the artists are able to bounce off each other and their vocals just beautifully mix together.
Yeah.
His entire vibe, right? It's a vibe, his rapping.
He's got a cool vibe.
It's such a cool vibe. You could just watch this
Yeah.
for hours on on end. So this is another proud production of Kurt Slabbert and Bluenoise production. It is Silver featuring Bongo Riot, titled Lost in You.
Saw you standing there, told myself I didn't care. You were not my type, but my heels just touch my nose. Feel it down to my toes, yeah, I can fight. I don't know if we should try. I don't know if you'll be mine. All I know is I feel high and I hope these words come out right. Moon is high, stars are a fire. Soul is feeling lighter, I'm full of desire. Beat it faster, my heart's beating faster. Tell me what's after, but don't say disaster. Lost in you. Lost in you. I walked over to you and you took my cue, yeah, you started to smile. And the earth started to move and I knew I would lose some. I'd stay a while. I don't know if we should try. I don't know if you'll be mine. All I know is I feel high and I hope these words come out right. Moon is high, stars are a fire. Soul is feeling lighter, I'm full of desire. Beat it faster, my heart's beating faster. Tell me what's after, but don't say disaster. Lost in you. Lost in you. I'm tired of these games, you know. Kinda lost my faith in love. Yeah, I can feel it change, you know. Now I'm flying high, looking down from above.
You walked through the doors and I knew I was yours. No turning around when you know you were from. Girl, I'm needed. Don't turn around, all you're healing. Baby girl, for my mind and my soul, I can finally feel whole. And I want you to know, baby girl, I won't go. Oh no, I'll never get through the clouds, 'cause my heart has been found.
Moon is high, stars are a fire. Soul is feeling lighter, I'm full of desire.
Girl, I'm needed. All you're healing. Fire.
Beat it faster, my heart's beating faster. Tell me what's after, but don't say
Girl,
disaster.
I'm needed. All you're healing. My one desire.
Lost in you.
You're healing.
What a track! That really is so perfect being here in J-Bay, the whole chilled vibes linked to it. But also know that this track would not have been possible with what you would call your boyfriend. And that would be Dave from Break the Law, an incredible producer who also is known for one of the biggest tracks on high rotation here in South Africa as well as the rest of the world, Paint Me Like a French Girl. And you work hand in hand with him on many of your projects. And I think actually I'll play out with Paint Me Like a French Girl towards the end of the show. But again, working hand in hand with people that you trust produces such quality.
Yeah, Dave and I have always had a great relationship when it comes to making music. So we started making music for people, and Silver was one of them. And we would obviously the song would come written, and then we would produce it or rearrange it, and then obviously produce it finished and mix and master, and try and find collaborations, try and find stuff that that will suit the artist, that will just make the song pop.
Absolutely.
So I think that and we work really well together. Because studio can be quite an intense space sometimes. It can be it has its days where everyone's got really strong ideas, and I think it's learning to deal with each other. We work so well together purely because I think it's just there's a lot of respect. We've been working together for a long time, so I can't iterate enough how important it is to grow as a musician, to have other influences. I've always had this thought in my mind of how much music does each person actually have in them. If you look at a lot of artists who have released music, they have maybe one good album.
Yeah.
And I've always thought, why is that? Is it not perhaps because that's all we've got inside of us, So even, if you take a Justin Bieber who's writing with him, he's got massive names that are writing with him. And so I'm just a firm
Constantly
believer.
evolving.
Absolutely. You've only got so much, you can't give what you don't have. So it's the right collaborations are important. And for me, it was Dave, and we've just worked together from day one.
But also, like you say, you can't give what you don't have, but also you're not sure what you have unless you are working with people that can pull it out of you.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
And I've been in studio where vocalists are like, I can't, I can't sing like that. And it takes someone in studio, someone as yourself or a manager or someone that really is invested in that person's career to say, just try this.
Yeah.
Try move in this direction, or you can reach those chords, but this is how you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And you are pushing them in a way that they actually had no idea. And all of a sudden, this sweetness comes out of their voice, and you're like, there it is, right there.
Yeah.
So it's trusting those people that, that sometimes you don't see the talent inside of yourself, and it does take someone else
to pull it out.
Of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as a producer, that's part of your job as well, working with vocalists.
And I think that actually has brought you to work with an artist right here from J-Bay.
Yes.
And that is an artist you've just introduced me to, which when you first played it, I was like, okay, this is 100% an international track.
Yeah.
Just the way that his vocals are, I wouldn't even say forced out. It is just like, it just flows.
Yeah.
His vocals just flow so naturally. And I mentioned that it's got this like grunge vibe around it. It's got this insanely international feel to it, and that is an artist by the name of Cole Olivier, and the track you played me is The Stranger. So before we get into how you found him, I want everyone to have a listen to this artist for the first time, playing him on E-Radio. That is Cole Olivier with his track The Stranger.
Then I learned of the stranger who has come here as a mystical messenger to whisper then disappear. I think I saw the stranger, the shadow crawled the floor like a night owl in the road, like a raven at my door. Ooh, ooh, ooh. There's no ghost you need to fear, a friend to desire. He's a huntsman of the ancient kind, one who's keeping time. Oh, think I heard the stranger is passing through town, but I don't know if he'll show his face when he comes around. Think I saw the stranger, think I saw the stranger, think I saw the stranger. Think I saw the stranger, 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 think I saw the stranger.
That was a local boy right here from Jeffreys Bay, Cole Olivier, and the track titled The Stranger. I believe you have just finished 20 tracks with this dude. That's insane.
Yes, I mean he's wow. Yeah, he's an insane writer. Very seldom do you come across something special that you just know. This is a special moment. And he's one of the songwriters that I feel is special. There's just something about the way he sings and about the way he writes. So we've been working together for a while now. We recorded that track, I think, about a year and a half ago. And since then, he's been working on writing songs till we get to 20 songs. So we've got 10 to choose from through a listening process. And we're actually going to record a full album, which doesn't happen. We're living in the time of singles. But I think just his style and his vibe and what he brings to music, for me, it just requires the respect of an album,
But you see, that's the thing, is you are able to decide, as a creative. That's the beautiful thing about the music industry, or being a creative, is there are no rules. There's no boundaries. There's no rules.
For sure.
If he wants to put an album out there, let him put an album out there, And then from there, you can derive the single by single by single. But then you've got the entire basket of who he is as an artist. And, from there, one person will listen to a single, go onto Spotify or Apple Music and be like, wow, this guy's got an entire album to listen to.
Yeah.
So you're giving more material out there, not knowing how it's going to be received. And in that, you find that people might be drawn to one more than the other, but then you're still pulling in that fan base. Yeah,
I think, what works these days in music. I think the music industry at the moment is on its head. It's in a very place where it's changing. It's ever constantly changing at the moment. And I think, people, should I do an album? Should I do a single? Should I do this? And it's like you said, there's no rules, you know. But I think as long as you're mindful about where you're going to monetize and how you're going to move forward, that's important, you know. So absolutely no rules. But at the moment, it is in a volatile place purely because of digitization, which is not going to get less. It's going to get more.
Everything's moving online.
Absolutely. So I think... it'll be interesting to see what we will do as artists. People are moving. A lot of the advertising is moving to brand associations with music. So and jingles. They want a band. They want a song these days. A big song. There's a trend there, and so there are other ways to grow an artist fan base besides just radio play. I'm still a huge firm believer of growing an artist fan base through sync. which is
sure.
a song on a TV show,
Yes.
and straight away it might not make a lot of upfront cash, but to understand that a lot of artists have been found and discovered through TV shows.
So it really is a great opportunity then for an artist like Cole Olivier to be working with you, because I know you not only do production and TV adverts, but you do synchronization and publishing, which also just happens to be international in Nashville. I mean,
In Nashville, yeah.
Kurt, like, this is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I mean, in 2017 I went to Midem, which is in France, which is in
Yes.
Cannes, and I met a company called Real Music Works, and since then I started growing a relationship with the owner, who is Terry Nelson Carpenter, and we decided to start a company together. And this company is so what she brings from her side is heavy music administration. So she worked for Fox Family Television worldwide. She worked for MGM. You know, she started a career out at BMI. So she brings that, and then my side is the creativity, bringing the music. And we opened up a company called Groot Klank, which most South Africans would see as Groot Klank. But.
Yeah.
So that name kind of derived from the fact that Terry had worked on Guardians of the Galaxy 2. They had a big sync on that TV show, and Groot was a beloved little creature on the television series. And Clunk, well, Clunk is sound, and to the Americans, Groot Clank. I mean, it just sounds different. It doesn't
Absolutely,
pigeonhole you. And to the Dutch, who we also had business dealings with, it makes sense to them too, because it's a Groot Klank, So that's how we kind of derived that name. And so we've started this catalog, and we are looking for creatives, and it's all about syncing music directly into the American TV scene, into Hollywood,
So for those that are listening that are not familiar with the word sync, it is short for synchronization, and that would be basically choosing and adding a song that is very specific to a certain either TV show or to a movie or to an advert, that really just enhances the entire feel of what they are trying to portray. And in that, it then further bleeds into royalties. The moment your song is synchronized into any of these, it really does do a domino effect of royalties. And I mean, royalties are hugely important to any artist's career.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, that's one of the streams, what the Americans are really good at is monetizing music, where we've still got a long way to go in that, where in America it's very protected.
Yeah.
So they squeeze every single drop out of that orange, so to speak, where we kind of just throwing most of it away at this stage still. So you have a lot of associations that protect music rights. You have a lot of collection societies that are very transparent. So we've still got a long way to go on that front, where we are able to monetize music that has a synchronization. However, the other spin-off is, as well, it's also a way to launch your career. I've seen artists go from 300 followers on Instagram to over 1 million.
It's crazy.
Through getting the music onto a TV show.
It's amazing. Absolutely. And then that also is how technology has advanced in terms of Shazam.
Yeah.
I do that. That's often how I discover new music. I'm watching a TV show, and the most recent is the New Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And there's such amazing music. I just quickly Shazam that.
Yeah.
And then it leads to you following an artist and listening to more music. So it's like all the avenues, everything just links so beautifully together.
And I think what's important, what you said there, is it's an artist. It's not jingles. It's not production music. There is those elements.
Yeah.
But these TV shows are looking for artists. They're looking for music. They're looking for songs. And there's a great opportunity there for artists to get their music onto TV shows, and that's through having the right publishing deals, the right network, etc.,
the right team supporting you and pushing you into that direction.
Absolutely. So Groot Clank is something that we started together Real Music. It's a partnership between Real Music Works and Bluenoise Productions. It's based in LA, it's based in Nashville, and it's based in Jeffreys Bay.
Incredible.
So that's that's Groot Clank, and it's still a baby.
Yeah.
We're working on it. In fact, last week we entered our first song into the catalogue, and it was quite a moment because it's taken probably 5 or 6 years to get there.
Wow.
And it starts, like you say, just relationships, networking, till eventually you start putting something together. You put a dream together, and I think last week was the first time that we got a small realization of that dream that started 6 years ago, and it's now an international company with a footprint, and we can offer any music administration on a global level.
Beautiful. If your life history has taken you from being in London to getting that disc from that artist to where you are now, I know that the 6 years that you have been working on this company is just going to blossom because you've got that resilience and that determination to make it happen. So for those that are listening, this is definitely someone that you need to get in touch with if you want to take your career or your advert or any production that you need to the next level. So Kurt, it's come to the end.
Is that it?
It's come to the end of our show today, and I am so grateful that you've made the time to come and chat to me about everything that makes you, basically. And it really has been an honor sharing this friendship over the last 8-9 years, and I just thank you for your influence in my life as well as my artists' lives. And you're going to be doing a track soon with Amy Chassing.
Can't wait. Yeah, we'll get there.
We'll get there eventually.
No, I'm looking forward to that
time, as well as many of my other artists. So, before we end, what advice, in short, can you give to any up-and-coming artist that's wanting to get into the scene?
Sure. In one sentence, I think it's never give up, and trust what's been put into your hands, and I think too often we're told we can't do it, and we believe that, and I think when you, especially if you're young, dream big and go for it, that's, if I can just quickly add on to that, for me, it was all about the hard work, not the talent, because I found, I had to work hard.
Exactly.
There's guys that are way more talented. But, so that's the one line of advice I can do is just never give up, and, that's it. Never give up.
Well, word straight from Kurt Slabbert's mouth, and it really is true. Persistence is key. So thank you again for being on the show, and I look forward to spending a good couple days here in Jeffreys Bay, soaking up the sun and just enjoying the chilled vibes. I pray that you all have a blessed weekend. Be safe and know you are loved.